Let's welcome in a very, very special guest now. Shachindra Nath, Vice Chairman and Managing Director at ugro Capital, is now with us. Sachin, it's really been a long time. You know, right from your earlier company to the new NBFC and now ugro. Did you think that you will be able to raise the funds the way you have? I mean, the sort of response that you've got. Can you just talk to us about what was the thinking when you went for this fundraising?
So, as you might remember, that ugro creation happened in 2018 when I decided to do a startup in a listed universe. This was technically India's first startup as a listed company. When I ended up raising roughly around 900 plus crore of equity capital from a diversified set of private equity investors. And as the time has passed, we raised our first capital in July 18. ILFS happened in September. Then DHFL happened. Then COVID has happened, but we kept our head down. We have focused on building India's largest small business fintech, and reached to a scale of 6,000 crore. And now we were at a size that obviously we wanted to augment the capital much prior to when we actually need it, because that would help us the way we are growing from last year of 3,000 crore of AUM. This year we are at 6,000 crore. The way we are at a monthly disbursement rate of 600 plus crores, so we should be at 10,000 crore next year. So we needed capital at some point of time, so we decided to do it. And what I'm proud and very happy that in my first capital raise, that was largely on my name, because I had no business. It was just an idea, just a PowerPoint presentation and a listed company. But this capital raise, in which you could attract one of the world's most renowned marquee DFI investors and some of the quality investors in our QIP, is a testament to the fact that we have really built a solid business in one of the most difficult time for fintechs and NBFCs.
Talk about the kind of profile. Can you just tell us about the profile of investors that have come in? Is it FII, is DII led? Is it anchored by someone? Somebody has given you enough commitment. Can you share such details with us, or allotment is yet to happen?
Yeah, so I can tell you. So in fact, our stock announcement have gone out some time back. So this capital is total of 340 odd crore. MSME financing and its impact in broader economy is highly impactful. And that's why we have been looking for two things. One, investors who come with little longer term time horizon, and also who can accelerate the impact which we create in the market, whether it is in employment generation, female entrepreneurs, small businesses. And that's why we have been very keen to bring a global development financial institutions. So IFU, which is the Denmark government arm, they have come in on a preferential allotment basis for 240 crore of equity check. And our QIP has opened, last night, should closed on day after tomorrow. But we have seen a very strong interest from domestic insurance companies and a few of the large financial institutions in India. So in total, this is around a 340 crore of capital raise.
Sachin, you would say that you have crossed the first step by raising capital. What next? What is your book size now with this capital? What sort of growth rate you're looking at? And also, now that you are into this business of e-tech or fintech lending, can you just tell us, what sort of tie-ups are banks doing with this fintech to raise growth for themselves and these companies? Are you also into that model of only a fee income via customers?
Yeah. So three things on which ugro stands. Our belief is that the next decade is decade of small business financing in India because of the power of data and technology. You have seen an decade of consumer financing business when players like Bajaj and other became very large. You will see few players becoming of that same size in next decade or so. So we are at the center of building India's largest small business financing. And we do it in three ways. One, we have the India's largest data tech warehouse wherein we use GST banking and bureau. We focus on 8 select sector, and we have a very large distribution reach. And on the other side, we think the NBFCs or fintech are lending as a service. So we are India's largest co-lending partners to almost 9 banks. So this is how we have created. What a lot of people don't realize, that technically we are 4-year-old, in which 2 years roughly are washed out of COVID, but still we have in Q4 21 we were at 1,300 crore. In Q4 22 we were at 2,970 crore. In Q4 23 we are at 6,084 crore. And at current run rate, next year will be roughly around 10,000 odd crore. We invested very heavily upfront in our OpEx infrastructure. And that's why the bottom line performance is now growing, very, very significantly. This year we will be roughly around, from last year of 20 crore of PBT, this year we are at 70 odd crore. And at the current run rate, because our OPEX engine is now completely built out, we will be roughly around 200 crore of profitability next year. So I think so this is in next 2 to 3 years, I'm hopeful and very confident that you will see ugro emerging as, in the listed NBFC space, emerging as one of the large players dedicated only to small business financing in India.
Sachin, a very important question. You were a part of the brokerage industry when it was a very high growth industry. You were a part of NBFC space when it was a high growth industry. Now you're part of a fintech app company, or you've done that. You think this is the next high growth area? You think there are phases, where you see high growth, and this is the space lending to small capital where you expect maximum growth? And more importantly, when things change, does this app give you the flexibility to change your target audience pretty easily? Is it much different than how it used to operate 10, 15 years back?
So, the first and foremost, credit businesses within broader financial services is the largest segment. Second, the broader under penetration, credit to GDP, and especially the credit to GDP in proportion to what SMEs contribute to our overall GDP, there is a massive gap. So we have an outstanding credit of 23 lakh crore, but the outstanding credit gap is around 400 plus billion dollars. So you can create 1 lakh crore equal at least 25 more businesses, ugro being just one of them. So I think so that landscape is very large. What has changed in last 5 to 6 years is the advent of data on which you can now assess a customer, which is predominantly what we call the alternative data of GST and banking. So when you go to a customer, you exactly know what is the intent of the customer, what's his eligibility, and what's his ability to pay. Now, app is just a method to reach out a segment of the market, because once a customer walk in through any of our distribution channel, we say yes within first 60 minutes. But our GrowX app, which we have recently launched, is to service the need of the smallest piece of our small businesses. A shop owner who needs a 10,000 rupees financing at the beginning of the day and want to pay it back at the end of the day, this app helps him to get that kind of a financing. So when you walk into a Chroma store and you want to buy a fridge, you can do that in 15-20 minutes time. But when you need a financing against a 10 lakh rupees of order, it could take anything from 1 month to 2 months. But these method of using data and delivering credit on tap is what would change the entire credit industry for small businesses dramatically.
All right, Sachin, thank you so much. Congratulations on the profile of investors that you could get in this entire fundraise.